Hey everybody, this is the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
And I'm John Black.
And on this week's episode, we're going to discuss a couple of films. We're going to talk about Woody Allen's You Will Meet a Tall, Dark Stranger. Then we're going to discuss the new action film Red, starring Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, and Helen Mirren. And then we're also going to talk about Conviction, the courtroom drama starring Sam Rockwell and Mrs. $1 Million Baby Hilary Swank. But John, before we get to that, let me just say to everybody, hey, if you want to send us an email, let us know what you think of the show. Send us any feedback. We're at postmoviepodcast@gmail.com, and you can find us on Facebook, and we're on iTunes too. I don't know what was happening with we had some trouble with our last episode downloading on iTunes. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's up there now. I haven't checked.
Was there an enormous demand that just crashed the system?
Yeah.
Really?
Our award-winning number 44.
Yeah, I knew it.
Social web network, and God, what else did we talk about last week? Let Me In. Terrific film.
Cool. Well, that was then. This is now.
And you know what? I was like trying to come up with. Oh, and then we're going to talk about picks of the week.
Yep.
And I couldn't decide on. I'm going to have to do multiple films this time because I just can't.
What? You're always pulling this. You are.
I'll try to keep it brief, but
okay.
So they're...
Save that for the end. Let's talk about this Woody Allen movie. Get this out of the way.
Okay, cool. I hope you're coming through okay, because it was just breaking up again on me there. But I don't.
Sounds fine on this end. I'm trying not to move. I'm not.
I hope I'm
touching anything.
Okay, cool. And then again, every time I complain about it could very well be me. I could be the one that's screwing this up. I don't know how. I don't know how, but we'll see. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do You Will Meet a Tall, Dark Stranger.
Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I am, and I'm more of a fan, I think, than most critics, because they always say, he hasn't made a good movie in 30 years or 50 years, whatever they're complaining about. I'm like, no, I've enjoyed most of his movies. He stumbled along the way. I didn't like, was it Cassandra's Dream?
Yeah.
I didn't like that one too much, but I've been a fan of. But this one really hit the wall for me. I didn't like it at all. I just thought it was so annoying.
You didn't like? Man, I was riveted by it.
Really?
I was into it from frame one all the way to the end. I liked it.
Well, then you better give a description of what it is then, because I want to. You'll be kinder.
Okay. All right. It's, what are you going to say? It's your typical Woody Allen thing with multiple crisscrossing stories. And in a way, it's a story that could have taken place in New York, but they set it in London, so I consider this one of his London films, like Scoop,
right.
Match Point, and I don't know, did he do Cassandra's Dream in?
Yeah, that was London too.
So the central character here, well, there's a couple. There's Anthony Hopkins, who plays a guy who's going through a late life crisis, and he has divorced his wife and quickly remarried a call girl, and see how his life falls apart from there. But these are all interrelated characters, as are a lot of Woody Allen's films.
Right.
And the wife, whom he divorced, has rediscovered sort of an occult spirituality, and she's sort of, finding herself. Their son, I believe, this is how it works, is played by Josh Brolin.
No. Their daughter is.
Oh, right. Sorry, his wife.
Right.
His wife. Okay, so there's that story. But then Josh Brolin, I think, has the more prominent of the stories wherein he plays a writer who has had one successful work. It's been some time since his second novel, and he's been trying to get that going, and he, fails, basically, at writing the second novel, and there is an interesting plot twist that happens concerning the poker group that he hangs out, that he does his weekly poker night with, and how he's able to get back onto his career. And it's all very deceitful, and they're very flawed characters, and in some ways hard to like.
In some ways.
But it's also very philosophical. I like how he builds his characters on so much psychological pain that they, existential pain that they're all going through.
Yeah.
But he develops this Josh Brolin's character develops this relationship with the woman across the street or across the courtyard, and he's done this by basically ogling her through the window at
Right.
first. And it's interesting how these certain characters connect. That I don't think that these characters would actually ever really be able to meet this way in real life, but the way they connect in his movies is sort of interesting. And
It's very Allen-esque.
yeah, yeah,
This is the way his people, either it's a side glance or, it's a lot of happenstance or, a word of conversation turns someone's head and suddenly they're having an affair.
uh-huh. And this is all about affairs.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I found it very entertaining. And I kind of want to say about Josh Brolin's character, I want to, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I want to say that what's interesting about what he's doing here is that he's able to, through a series of freak events, able to take someone else's novel and pass that off as his own.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody would ever know that this has happened. He's able to, in a way, get away with this, at least in his mind.
Right.
So he's living sort of this fake life. Whereas in this book that was written is a fabulous work, and he's getting all the credit for it. How that happens, I don't want to say, but it's just one of these really deceitful cover-ups that's going on. I thought was very interesting. But let me ask you this:
Yes.
Woody Allen, he's in his late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's fair to say of a director when they're of that age that they have lost having something to say about society, about being contemporary or being hip? I mean, not that Clint Eastwood does his films, but because of the type of films that Woody Allen has made, as being sort of contemporary and what's happening at that time, do you think he's lost that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's just this. He has such an enormous output of films. It's like one every year or one every year and a half, and I look forward to them. They're events for me, and I go see them. But there's nothing really new or fresh being talked about here, and just the fact that he moves it to a different location. To me, the one of the things that was missing was the dialogue was kind of stilted and unbelievable to me. And I think there's a problem. I know there's a problem when I'm watching a movie, and it's Josh Brolin and Naomi Watts arguing about life and their philosophy and all this, and all I'm thinking is, God, they've got the worst haircuts. I'm just
funny
so pulled out.
Thought that because I didn't think that, but Anthony Lane in the New Yorker was hung up on that too.
Oh, they were hilarious.
Is this intentional?
No, I went
over my head.
No, I just think it's something that, again, because you were more involved in the movie and you were following the characters more, that it didn't hit you as something. But for me, it was like, I'm just so not interested in these people. I'm going to pick apart the way they look. I'm sure it wasn't a conscious thing on Alan's part, or it was a statement of any kind. It was just, I think it's just that I was just bored, and they were so unlikable, these characters. So whiny and unlikable. I was like,
not
just
unlikable in the way
up.
that you didn't like the characters in The Social Network.
Well, they're all whiny. I guess I'm just tired of whiny people or whiny characters, and these people really were whiny.
There is this character Anthony Hopkins marries. She's terrific. And she kind of reminded me of oh God, what's her name? Actress was in. Oh, fuck. I hate it when I can't remember the fucking names.
Kids, earmuffs. Steve's gonna swear again.
Mina, Italian.
I'm not helping you.
God, I hate this. Nominated for an Academy Award. I think she won for, not Bullets Over Broadway, but, she played the prostitute. Sarah, Mira Sorvino. Thank you.
Right. The other Woody Allen movie. What was the name of that? Mighty Aphrodite.
Mighty Aphrodite. Thank you. We are just like Whiplash smart on these Woody Allen films. Similar character here played by Anthony Hopkins' call girl wife. And very funny in a way,
Yeah.
Very amusing. So it seems as though Woody Allen is putting the same sort of character ingredients into the film
Well, that's what I think. She is funny. She's an overblown Barbie doll kind of thing. It's kind of again, it's not a well written part. It's just kind of like she's funny because she's a big dumb blonde.
Bimbo.
Yeah.
A bimbo
Yeah.
with a heart. She may be the dumbest
I don't know.
of them all, but she's actually the most kindly. In other words, the stupid people are kind, the smart people are somewhat deviant and evil. Just a thought.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think she was kind.
She wouldn't.
Kind of dumb.
Huh?
I don't think she was kind. I don't know where you found that, but
happy-go-lucky in a way.
yeah.
There was that scene where she was kind of screwing him over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I think she's kind of a gold digger too. So.
Okay.
But
a nice gold digger.
Yeah, she's a nice. She's
sweet, but
yeah. I don't know. I just didn't. Again, this movie was just, to me, it was just endless bitching by people I didn't care about. It didn't cross into drama for me. I didn't find it funny. It didn't have any kind of focus for me. I'm following the storyline, but I don't
liked it better
really
than
care.
Whatever Works. I found that more annoying.
I just found that annoying because of the lead actor. What's his name? Larry David. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I see your point there.
Woody has problems when he gets other people to play the part he should be playing.
If he's been off his game, he's been off his game for 20 years. But
I don't know.
I like to expect him to, just because he's in his late 70s, I don't think that that's reason enough to say he doesn't have anything left to say. I mean, maybe I'm just not his audience anymore. Maybe his audience is 10, 15 years older than me.
No, probably 5. That's my age. So wait, did you like Vicky Cristina Barcelona?
Loved it.
Scoop?
It was a better comedy. I don't think there was much for laughs in You'll Meet a Tall Dark Stranger.
Right.
It was much
Match
hilarious
Point?
there. Very much liked it.
Yeah. Now, see, those were the last ones I liked, and then I didn't like Melinda. I didn't like anything else, but I did like Hollywood Ending, and I did like Curse of the Jade Scorpion and Small Time Crooks, and
yes,
but
definitely
those are the ones you mention to reviewers, and they start rolling their eyes. He hasn't made anything good since Annie Hall. Sorry, he has.
I'll leave it at this. I think he's kind of getting a bum rap. I think he is a great filmmaker. I wouldn't say he's lost it, but he is kind of getting a bum rap. He's some okay films.
Yep. He's still one of my favorites, whether it's his old stuff or, like I said, every time he puts one out, it's an event to me. I go. And even when I wasn't a reviewer, I remember they used to come out and I would go to the, was it the Paris Cinema? They used to come out Walgreens.
Yeah.
On Boylston Street. And I would go there opening day and see his movies, as a ritual. So I've been doing this for a long time.
Well, this one's opening at the Coolidge this week. I think it opened, a couple days ago at the Coolidge, so I would recommend it. I would say definitely go see it.
I would see it, if you're a fan, just because, like I said, it's something to see. Let's do Red.
I dig that movie.
Yeah?
I digged it. It was a lot of fun. And I'm eager to see it again. I really enjoyed it.
I think it was a lot of fun, but I think it was a shitty movie.
Oh, John.
I know. Again, a lot of fun. Shit blows up. It's fun to see Helen Mirren with machine guns. There's some laughs in it, but I think
it is
Robert
mostly a
Schwenke
comedy over anything else.
No, but I just think it was badly directed. And here's an example. There's a scene where they're they're trapped in a house and Helen Mirren's guarding, she's outside telling them what's going on. And the bad guys swarm in. They've got you surrounded. They're coming in from all sides. But there's Helen Mirren within sight of the house, hiding, in a white coat behind a wall of logs. And it's like, well, why don't they shoot her?
Okay.
There was just gaps like that.
I can't disagree with you on the idea that in terms of creating drama in a film, the mark of a good director is they know where certain elements are in space and time and yada yada, how things relate to each other within an action scene. I'm
not denying the fun of watching these guys in action because Bruce
it was
Willis
fun.
And
because of not just John Malkovich.
Yep.
Very fun.
Yep.
Bruce Willis kind of lampooning himself, but but fun, and that's what this is about. It's just tongue-in-cheek fun. I don't think it's supposed to be really serious.
No,
You know,
I'm not. There were just so many. I just thought the direction was bad. I
there
just
was
thought there
enough
were so many
slack
gaps
in
in
there.
it.
You didn't like it just because there was like,
No, I had fun,
okay.
but I just don't think it's a good movie.
I think it's a good movie. I
Mm.
don't know. I don't know there. I don't know. I don't know. I think John Malkovich, terrifically entertaining.
Yeah.
Loony, crazy,
Ernest
off the
Borgnine.
wall. Don't know what he's going to do. Kind of like that guy, you know. He's been toyed with mentally, I think, for 20 years.
Yeah, fed LSD on a daily.
Yeah,
20 years.
tested with certain types of drugs, and it's had an effect on him. Bruce Willis plays he's an ex-CIA operative.
Well, that's just it. There's an let's give a little bit of the story to people so they know what we're talking about. There's Bruce Willis plays an ex-CIA operative who someone tries to kill him, and he tries to find out why, and he gets all the other retired
Back
agents together.
Morgan Freeman and
they get the band back together, and they're
Brian,
going to go
Brian Cox
find out.
too.
Yep. Yeah, and they all go, and meanwhile, there's also Mary Louise Parker, who is not part of the original CIA gang. She's a telemarketer.
Well, she's really the comic relief here in a way, or
Right.
You know what? Not so much. Okay, she is funny. She's more like the grounded person who's just like commenting on all the craziness that's going on here.
Right.
You know, she's the office worker who wants some craziness in her life. You know, spice.
Right. She had a kind of phone thing going on with Bruce Willis because when he would pretend to lose his check just so he could call her at the office and say, you know, my check didn't arrive. So they had this kind of flirtation over the phone.
Yeah, they're both yearning for something to get back or get some, and they get it. You know.
Yeah, and I'll admit to having a huge crush on her, so I was psyched to see her in this, you know. So that was fun. Again, fun, but there was just so many little things in this movie that just annoyed the shit out of me.
Okay, all right. I didn't get that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was just fun. This whole thing that's being perpetrated upon Bruce Willis is because what is he, a vice president? The vice president's running for the presidency or something, and something happened in Vietnam wherein Bruce Willis and a couple of other guys were the only witnesses to this rather atrocious event that happened. If news got out on it, it would totally ruin this guy's campaign, so they decide to kill anybody that was there or knew anything about this event, this skirmish that happened in Vietnam. So Willis is on the run and gets together his team, and they are just freaking characters. It's fun. It's fun. It's based on, I believe, a graphic novel, comic book.
Yeah, never read the comics, so I don't know much about it.
Helen Mirren comes in halfway through playing this sort of, oh God, you think she was a homebody housewife at home taking care of the flowers.
Yeah,
she is so into, she's cold-blooded. She really is cold-blooded. I mean, she is the grandma that will kill you. As far as like evil grandmas go, I think that the woman who was in Animal Kingdom, probably one of the most evil characters.
Oh yeah.
Helen Mirren is cold-hearted, but not evil. She's nice. But as far as old ladies with a dark side go, she's definitely up there.
Yeah, it's like she said, she's retired, but she still takes the odd hit every now and then just because it's fun.
Yeah, it's just the irony of seeing her with the machine guns and whatnot. It's a kick. The action scenes I thought were terrific. I had a lot of fun with that. Although I should say that I saw an early version of the film and some of the special effects weren't there, but
when
was what it was.
When the CIA shows up at Bruce Willis's house, and again, these are
night ops.
Yeah, and they just fire, into the house to the point where the front porch collapses.
Yeah, the whole house goes down.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's funny.
Well, to a point, but I think that, again, because the guy just takes it too far, it stops being funny for me. It's like watching. Remember that movie?
John, how could you like The Expendables and not enjoy this to its fullest extent?
I don't know.
It stops. It gets funnier as it goes.
No, it doesn't.
When
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
the cameo with Ernest Borgnine, Richard Dreyfuss coming in there,
Right. I
and
told you I had fun, but when they just shoot at the house to the point where it collapses, that's stupid. That stops being funny for me. Long before they stop shooting.
oh, okay.
It's like, remember that movie, The Gauntlet, with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
Same thing. They would shoot the bus until the bus would collapse, the house would collapse, and be like, okay, it's not funny to me. It just goes too far.
Okay.
It
All right.
shows a lack
I
of
didn't get
imagination
that.
to me.
I liked what was going on between Carl Urban and Bruce Willis's character, the young versus the old, the on his way out guy versus the guy that's trying to do whatever he can to get ahead. Who you think is a bad guy actually tends, they both have these same sort of intentions, but they're not entirely bad. And
Right. Well,
yeah, it's
they have a good rapport back and forth, and I like the way it resolves itself. But when Bruce Willis is the old guy, and what's the young guy's name?
Carl Urban.
Yeah, when they face off in the office.
Yeah.
That to me is a fun scene, except that the director plays Aerosmith's Back in the Saddle again. And it's like, I get it, all right? I don't need to be hit over the head by this. That's what I mean by things that would throw me off.
So you don't think this, what's his name, Robert Schwenke, is a good director?
Not in this case. I don't know what else has he done. This didn't work for me at all. Again,
he did Flight Plan, Jodie Foster.
That was a pretty bad.
With Sean Bean. Time Traveler's Wife with Johnny Depp. No, was that Johnny Depp? No, that was God, I forget who was that.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, yeah, who that was. He hasn't done, like, in my opinion, he hasn't done like a freaking, Ishtar. I mean, he's not.
No, I'm not saying, like I said, Steve, I had fun with this, but I just don't think it's a good movie. It's not well made.
I'm gonna still say it's a good movie. I think, in fact, I thought it was great. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around, and I'm also kind of like turned around because I would think this would be something you'd really enjoy and say it was a great movie. Like,
no, I can't say it was great.
Okay.
Can't. All I can say is that, I laughed, I had fun, but again, I just thought it was clumsily
Okay,
made.
John, I'm going right to the heart here. So, was Piranha 3D a great movie?
No, it was usually entertaining, but it wasn't a great movie.
Okay. I was thoroughly entertained by Red. Like I said, Mary Louise Parker, I think there were a couple times where I thought she kind of lost me because she was sort of playing so outside the realm of the agents here that, her commentary was like, whatever. But I got over it real quickly. She was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that scene with her and Helen Mirren in the snow and Helen Mirren, girl talk while she's setting up her sniper post. It's fun. That was fun, man. Moving on.
Conviction.
Do you want to take the start on this one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Well, it's based on a true story about a woman in, was it Haverhill, Mass? Whose brother was arrested for murder, and she actually went through law school. She believed he was innocent. She put herself through law school and worked against the system to free her brother. That's it in a nutshell. There's a lot more going on.
It's funny that in that Sam Rockwell's character here, he plays Kenny Waters. He is a ne'er-do-well. I mean, he has a side to him that kind of makes you keep wondering throughout the movie, like, Jesus, could he actually have done this? I mean, it doesn't seem, it's not, he's not totally convincingly innocent. There is this thought,
right.
This lingering thought that, he could very well have done this because
he's not a good guy.
Definitely not. He was a thief as a kid. He, wouldn't back away from bar brawls.
He's got anger management
issues. He has that going on, but at the same time, without giving much away, he's a perfect guy to lay this on.
He's the local troublemaker. The cops all know who he is. Whenever there's a problem, they kind of go to him. And this problem has to be that his neighbor was brutally stabbed and robbed.
Uh-huh.
And so the cops, go to him. And then it's like, I think 2 years later when they finally arrest him.
Yeah.
So.
And John, I want to say right away,
mm-hmm.
This is a movie where viewers must not see the trailer before the film, because it totally gives away one of the main points of the movie.
Really?
Totally gives away. Yeah, the whole drama. I kind of went into it cold.
So did I.
Certain things have to be met in order for her to get him or try to get him out. You know?
Right.
In order for her to advance in her legal career, she has to do certain things, and whether or not she achieves these goals is very much a part of the drama. But if you watch the trailer, it just blows it. I mean, like, why watch the first hour of the movie when you can see it all in 2 minutes in the trailer? It's totally absurd.
Right.
So, just listeners, don't watch the Conviction trailer, please.
But you would say to go see the movie, right?
Yes, I think they're going to set it up for Oscar-worthy stuff. I don't really think it's Oscar-worthy, but it's a fine film.
Yeah,
it's a terrific performance by Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, and Hilary Swank's good.
And a terrific performance from Juliette Lewis.
That's what I was going to say. She was my favorite.
Crap.
She was my favorite.
I mean, I wonder how far off base she is here with these dregs of society characters she's playing.
I'm going to tell you this, and this is something when I interviewed the director, Tony Goldwyn, and the woman who it's really based on, and they came in for interviews. I also interviewed Sam Rockwell, and we're going to post that as soon as I get my act together. But so we asked her about Juliette Lewis and how close was this Rosanna Perry character she played to the real woman. You know the scene when they come back to take her deposition and she says those outrageous, outlandish things?
Yeah.
That's a transcript. That's the transcript of her deposition. That's actually what that woman said. Mm-hmm. And the woman whose life it's really based on, Betty Ann Waters, she was saying that Juliette Lewis just nailed the part, just nailed it. And it's, and then we're talking like rotten teeth and all, because she's kind of like the town slut in the first part, and then usually they go back to get a deposition, and she's this poor creature living in a trailer with rotten teeth and just more brain cells missing.
This may seem. I wonder if she's going to get an Academy Award Best Supporting for this. I mean, maybe she's in the movie for 10 minutes, but it's really messed up. I mean, she's just a foul character.
Oh yeah, and the story turns on her.
Yeah.
I don't know if they give that away in the trailer, but the story does turn on her. So I would definitely, I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. I haven't seen a lot of other movies, so you got to wait for everything.
It's fine. I think there's going to be talk that she might be worthy of a nomination. I don't think it's deserved because the part is so small, and there needs to be. I think when you get like I know anything about Academy Award nominations, but it just seems they would need something more substantial. But it's a small but interesting performance that she delivers. Hilary Swank, not too far out of her range here. She's just in her investigation zone.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminded of what was that movie she did with Robin Williams? The
Insomnia?
Insomnia. Yeah, very good.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm here.
This is Hilary Swank investigation mode. Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
So, Sam Rockwell, I think he has definitely the character arc here. The way he goes from the way you get to see how prison sort of transformed him.
Oh yeah, he just is. I love his body language. From the frantic, happy-go-lucky party guy to that, almost utterly defeated guy just slumping his way through the halls of the prison.
Yeah,
it's pretty intense. And I even liked Minnie Driver as the wise ass friend. A role that she's pretty much cornered the market on.
Yeah.
You need a wise ass friend. Who's just pretty enough but not prettier than, and all this stuff.
Haven't seen her in a while. I guess it was nice to see her back in a film.
Oh, did you see her in Mother? That god awful Uma Thurman thing?
No.
Good.
No, I was pretty much repelled by that movie. Maybe it was the marketing that did it, but I had no interest in seeing that film.
Yeah, it was. I not only got to see the film, but then I had to sit through a grueling interview with the director and Uma Thurman, who pretty
How
much
could an Uma Thurman interview be grueling? I mean,
because because you're trying to just look at her and she's grilling you because you brought a penis into the room and she's not happy with that. I'm like, what? You know, movie sucks. It's not because I'm a man. So it didn't go well.
yeah, you know, there are those interviews where, you know,
Yeah.
you obviously didn't like the movie, but you still have to talk to the filmmakers. But I don't mind. I really love the whole learning experience of doing interviews, even if the film wasn't that great. But it's nice, and we've said this before, when the filmmaker actually knows that their work wasn't, you know, the best of the best, and you can communicate on that level, and you can say, you know, we give it our best shot. We try to do this. We try to do that.
Or he defends it. You know, they can defend it, and sometimes I've walked out of interviews and felt different about the movie when I leave.
Yes, that happens.
You know.
Yeah. And then it's happened the other way around, where you thought you'd film, you meet the director, and you're like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the fun part about doing the interviews.
That's my Tom Tickner story.
I don't know if there's much more to say about Conviction, especially because you've got 13 recommendations you want to make this week.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, I enjoyed Conviction. I think it's a riveting film, and I would not dissuade anybody from paying to go see it. I think it's a quality film. But I will say that it's not funny, for sure.
No.
It's definitely a downer, but Sam Rockwell is very interesting to watch. Just as anytime he's on screen, he's interesting to watch, and he holds the film together. Hilary Swank, this is really Sam Rockwell's, his movie, his kind of performance. That's the way I saw it. I know it's Hilary Swank supposedly taking the reins here, and it's all about her heroic effort to get him out. But
you watch him more when he's on screen than you do her.
Yeah, I think he's the real reason to see the film, and nothing against Hilary Swank. I mean, I like her, but this movie, this doesn't really punch over into the Oscar category for me, but it's a fine film.
Excellent.
That's okay. You know what we missed this week? We missed Secretariat.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, they I don't know what the deal was. Maybe I just didn't get my act together to see the press screening, but I am very much.
Well, I know what the act was for me is that they held a screening that was only for people doing the interview. Diane Lane came in, so no online press was invited. And then they scheduled an evening screening that was the same time as another movie. It was the same time as that.
So they did have a god-awful what?
That god-awful Katherine Heigl thing.
Oh, right, yeah. No interest.
But yeah, they had an afternoon screening, but because I'm online press, they wouldn't invite me.
So maybe maybe we'll talk about it next week because it'll be around. Disney, I think, is positioning it for the Oscars, so it's going to be worth some discussion. But let's move on to picks of the week. Since I've got a couple, go for it.
Let me just get mine out of the way.
We're just setting it up so we can just sweep it right out of the way.
So you have free room. All right.
Just if you want to do a couple, by all means do it. I would have just done one had I been able to make up my friggin' mind,
Well, that is asking a lot. I know. It's okay. I'm gonna go with Suck.
Suck. Vampire.
Yeah. How did you guess? It's a vampire flick. It's about a indie band whose bass player gets bitten by a vampire. Suddenly, when she plays on stage, everyone loves her a lot more. So the rest of the band decide to become vampires. They become a big deal on the music scene. The reason I liked it was it's pretty well done. It's pretty funny. But it had the greatest guest appearances. Alice Cooper is the bartender at the nightclub, and he's also the devil. Iggy Pop is in it. Malcolm McDowell plays the vampire killer, Eddie Van Helsing. Yeah, bad rock and roll puns. Not a great. Moby's in it. Henry Rollins is in it. Dave Foley's in it.
This didn't get a wider release. I didn't
because it's really not that good. It came out in 2009. I don't think it made it to theaters. I got a feeling it was a straight to DVD thing.
Oh, I think it premiered, if I recall correctly, at South by Southwest.
Really?
Did it not?
You know, one of the things, it's directed by this guy, Bob Stefaniak, who also plays the lead actor in it. And there are shots in this movie which are kind of like tributes to classic rock and roll album covers, where they'll be sitting under a flag and it's an old Who album. There's a Stones album. There's a T-Rex album. There's just these little scenes in the movie that stop, and you realize that they framed this, classic rock album picture in the film. Little things like that amuse me. Again, not a great movie, but fun. It's fun.
I have wanted to see it since I saw the trailer, and that was, God, what, a year ago? Hadn't heard from it. Never appeared on the radar again. So I guess it was right to DVD.
Yeah, and here's one of the things that I thought was really inventive. You know how usually Malcolm McDowell's in his 60s, 70s or something, so he's Eddie Van Helsing, the killer, and they have flashbacks in the movie of him when he. Why he is so determined to kill the vampires, what the vampires did to him to make him such a crusader. They actually used clips from, do you remember a movie he did I think it was in the 1970s called Oh Lucky Man?
I have not seen it.
They used clips of Malcolm McDowell as an actor 40 years ago and add new footage that blends in with these old clips. So it's just fun. It's a B movie, but it's a fun B movie. So.
Cool. Man, I don't know where to begin, but I'm going to start with Ken Burns' The 10th Inning, which I saw last week on PBS and is now out on DVD, and they had a special screening of this with a Q&A by Ken Burns over at the Coolidge Corner Theater a couple weeks ago, and the 10th Inning updates Burns' 1994 film, Baseball, which is... God, I don't know how many hours it is, but it was presented in over 9 days as a series of 9 innings, like the whole history of baseball. The 10th inning covers the mid 90s up and through the Red Sox World Series and till present time. So it has 10th inning has a heavy Red Sox bent to it, and it was very pleasant for me, for us here in Boston and. Spending time at Fenway and, having gone through that whole experience, it was terrific. And I think maybe there's a little bias with Ken Burns there too, him being from the area. But I really enjoyed it from that perspective in the way that, the people that the interviews that he uses. Doris Kearns Goodwin comes back, and it was very entertaining. Really,
I DVR'd it. And I've got it ready to watch. The thing is, now here's, I'm not a baseball fan. So am I going to like this? Even though, the Red Sox.
I think so. I watched with Sarah. She's not at all a baseball fan, but the stories that are presented in this documentary make it very riveting. The people and the experiences,
right?
And the history of the clubs, and that's what sort of makes one love baseball is its history. And after watching it, I went back and watched. 6 more hours of the original series, from 1950 to 1960 with the New York teams and the commentary by Billy Crystal and, the remembrances of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And it was great. And then I went back to the 1927, 1920. I really enjoyed it. It was more baseball than I could stand. My eyes were killing me, but anyway, I will be watching the 10th inning again. It's now out on video. But I also wanted to quickly recommend Neil Jordan's On Dine, which I saw last year at the Toronto Film Fests with Colin Farrell.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful film.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's just gorgeous. He plays this fisherman who catches a Russian woman in his net, and his Colin Farrell's daughter comes to believe that this woman that was caught in his net is actually a mermaid. So it's very it just captures the whole ambiance of Northern Ireland and the fishing community and the cold rusticness of it, and I really liked that. Plus, it had Sigur Rós doing some music in the middle of that, so that'll get me.
And it's something just magical about the way the director made it. Even though we don't think she's a mermaid, he never lets us really believe that she couldn't be.
Yeah, there's always that question.
Great performance by Colin Farrell.
Yeah, his daughter. Terrific.
That was his daughter?
No, the girl who plays his daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just a quiet, lovely little film. Just enjoyed the hell out of it.
Hey, and I also want to recommend season 1 of Modern Family, a show that I never saw on TV, but got the DVD and have really enjoyed it. It's like it's sort of done like The Office, and it's basically this family that lives in this city very close to each other. Ed O'Neill plays a fella who has recently married a much younger woman, a Latino woman, Sofia Vergara,
Mm-hmm.
and his son, who is gay, lives a few houses down and is married to this other fella, and they've adopted a Vietnamese girl, and then his daughter, who also lives on the block. They have a family, has all these weird problems, but it's a half-hour comedy. It's very funny, and it's told with confessionals like The Office, where you're basically getting these character interviews with for some unknown reason. Like, we don't know what kind of documentary they're making or why they're doing these interviews, but the show is very fake but very funny, and every episode is actually really good. There wasn't really a weak one. The gay couple, hysterical. And now I can see why those guys won a couple of Emmys. Very funny. So I've watched 3 of the 4 discs, and I wanted to recommend it. I think it's a great show, actually. Looking forward to more of it. Modern Family.
Good. And you said before, it's Ed O'Neill?
Ed O'Neill. Yep.
And he's one of my favorites, obviously.
And then there's this other family, his daughter's family. I forget the name of the guy who plays the father, but he takes such an interest in his kids that he's just trying to be too cool of a dad. Where if you try to be too cool of a dad, it just becomes just irritating to the kids. Never actually works. So here's a dad who's like memorized all the lines and dance steps to High School Musical, and he performs it. It's a good show.
Good.
So definitely looking forward to it. And I'm going to stop right there with one addendum. I was recently sent by our good friends at the Asylum in L.A. have sent me MILF.
I just got that.
Yes.
Did you watch it?
Well, we're going to be talking about it next week. No, I haven't watched it yet. I just received it the other day. I was hoping that they'd send out a copy of the #1 Cheerleader Squad, but it was surprising to see MILF.
Well, didn't they also do? Is it Mega Piranha?
Mega Piranha, yeah.
And when I finally got to see Titanic 2, it was everything he promised.
Oh, cool.
And
cool.
I was wondering, when I saw the preview for Mega Piranha, if they would send that, but I didn't see that either.
Yeah.
It's on demand. It's on Netflix on demand. So
MILF looks like an experience. And I was also introduced to the acronym that I wasn't aware of, called GMILF.
Grandmothers.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that one.
You need to spend more time online.
Apparently there are some. So next week it's MILF.
Definitely.
So I think we're done.
Good. Nothing personal, but good.
So as always, if you out there have any questions for us, if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, we've had a couple of people send us their films, so we'll be getting to those in a couple of weeks. Or soon, hopefully next week. Send us an email, postmoviepodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. And follow us on iTunes as we can get our RSS feed worked out so that we can actually have episodes on iTunes. So hopefully it's all worked out. At least the Libsyn, the company, says they've worked it out for us. So we should be able to get episode 44, we hope, and then this episode on iTunes. Leave us a review. Hopefully positive. We'd much appreciate it. And you can follow us online at post-movie.net, and we're on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter at twitter.com/SteveHead, and I'm totally talked out. How about you?
I am too. So let's
It's
leave it at
time.
that.
Yeah, it's time for secrets. Until next week, I'm Steve Head.
And I'm John Black.
So long.